Alrighty then. So this is my first video on, I guess, the Hoodie gamer. Yeah. Um, and recently, um, being that this is near Christmas and all, and I kind of got my gifts early, like I always do. I've recently picked up, uh, kof13, which is a fighter that I've been loving since probably about KOF 2000, maybe. Even though I played like 96 and 98, but I was like 7, 6, and couldn't really understand them. But, anyways, so I've come to find that with games like KOF, like, it's hard that they don't get the recognition that the games really deserve, especially when before like KOF. I think it was 11 came out. It was pretty sad that you could find a copy of KOF 2000 for like $1. When that game has so much more value. And it takes actually skill to play this game. So for all you gamers out there who's saying that the fighting game communities, kind of going bad because of a couple mistakes with them dumbing down the Street Fighter series, adding all this, being able to spam shurikens and shoot fireballs for days and not actually having to fight, even though it's a fighting game and you could get by on just spamming. Um, but when you play a game like KOF 13, some people need, I guess, fighting game rehab to get better to the game because right now online, there's only a select few of actually really great gamers that are probably at tournament level. I mean, and I'm pretty good actually. I didn't think I'd actually be this good where I've been able to slaughter some of the top 100 just using mature. So that's kind of saying something. And there's probably I don't really know where they're from, but they're probably just North American players, and we think we're the greatest. Even though to a lot of countries out there in the fighting game community, we're pretty much free wins. Not to say that because when you have Justin Wong that's ranking high at East Coast tournament, then he goes to SoCal for KOF 13 and just gets destroyed. That's saying something, and I'm on the East Coast, so my thoughts about KOF 13 pretty range from the fact that you can evade move, dodge move, punish. Even with the blocking system, the guarding is pretty well. And someone can't just sit there and spam for days because they will get flopped and just smashed on their shit, I guess. One thing that they've added that I think was really great was that hyper mode that allows you to go from desperation move into your Neo super special move, which does like tons of damage and can like destroy a whole game plan if someone sets up a game plan all geared to like one secret character at the back, hidden at the back, tucked away for the last round just to destroy everybody. Um, Comparing it though to Super Street Fighter 4 AE 2012, it's hard to compare the games, and there's a lot of people doing that when they're saying, oh, there's people on one side of the debate, oh, you need to play a real fighting game, get KOF 13, and other people on the side of the debate, like, well, really nothing, KOF 13 is a great game on its own, and then there's people who think, Street Fighter's better, and, Street Fighter is what's happening, it's a, godly game, it's the staple of all fighting games for the last, I don't know, 5-10 years, I guess. But it's really not, because if you look at it, like, so many things are hard to punish. At least with the 2012 update, it helped a little bit, but the game is still not where it needs to be to take some serious skill on playing. With Third Strike coming like out again for the PSN release, I was looking at it as why aren't more people playing these games? Because Third Strike was so amazing, especially with the parry system and how much skill it actually took to play the game. You know, when you were doing the hitting a hyper bomb with Alex or a Giga Slam with freaking Hugo, or even doing Dojin Hadouken with Ryu. You know, everything required timing, skill, the right setup, and you know, you couldn't just sit there idle. You know, you couldn't play like with Remy, who's kind of like Guile. You can't just sit there and turtle because you're going to basically get smashed in your shit. But you know, that's just my opinion. With KF13 though, the reason why I'd say, you know, a lot of things like when people probably switch over from Street Fighter, you know, they're probably gonna try laning, they're gonna try turtling, they're gonna try playing real estate when, you know, those things aren't gonna work. Because one, if you try turtling, whenever you go up for whatever charge move you're gonna do, you could just roll right past it, and if they're turtling, you're gonna see it coming. That's why I'm glad, you know, some of the higher ranked players on the PSN, not speaking for Xbox because I don't play on Xbox, you know, they don't turtle, you know, they're always moving, they're going around quick, fast, you know. What else? Hmm, 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 hmm. What's else? What else? What else? What else? Oh wait, I know. The depth and actual somewhat customization KF13 has compared to Super Street Fighter 4 AE 2012. You know, there's such a huge gap. Yeah, you know, one's coming out, you know, with like shit tons of alternate costumes, but then again, it's like what, 3 costumes a character now, I'm guessing, and you know, after a while you're like, okay, we like the character, you know, we like the new costumes, let's bring in a new character. And you know, they did that, they brought in like 4 characters for like $15, which was but anyways, they still did it, you know, because Capcom can pull off a half-ass sequel and still make millions of dollars. You know, mostly on the fighting games, but hey, we love our fighting games, the fighting game community. Now, lots and lots, and I mean lots of fanboys are gonna hate this video because they're gonna be like, how can you say this about Street Fighter? Street Fighter's like the most amazing game in the universe, and you know, all these other games don't compare. Well, I mean, when you look at it, yeah, they do. I mean, Blaze Blue, or however you say that, Blaze, I call it Blaze Blue, but that, I mean, you know, with just how much skill it takes to play that game, you know, because you could end up being on the wrong side of a Jin Kisaragi ice slide into projectiles, and if you ever actually get into that game and really play Continuous Shift 2, that really sucks, or, you know, getting basically bitched around by Hag, Tagger, and, you know, or Ragnar just stealing your health. I mean, that was one thing that pissed me off about that game, where Ragnar would steal your health. And, like, especially when you have them about to die and all of a sudden they just start coming out with combos and stealing shitloads of your health, and their health is going back up and your health is, like, skyrocketing down, not just from the damage but also from stealing your health. I mean, you know, that game is, you know, nice fun little bag of tricks. And then you got other games like Tekken. Tekken, probably, when played correctly, is one of the most hardest games to probably play because, you know, of with King's grapples and the juggles and how fast Steve Fox can throw a punch, and, you know, freaking Kazuya's and Jin's combos that come in with like super kicks and Brian Fury's freaking juggle awesomeness. That is a hard game to play, especially when you're playing with someone who is like a 3-year vet on tournament play for the game, you know, that travels all over the world and beats the best around the world. Um, Now, I think coming into about 2012, you know, what I'd hope to see is more variety of titles. You know, hopefully KOF13 gets a little bit of the recognition it deserves in North America because it's a solid game with solid gameplay. You know, we used to say, oh, you know, the graphics, look at the graphics, but, you know, the graphics are really fixed now, so you can't say anything about that. And really, I hope people are just going to give this game the fair shot it deserves. Will it happen? Maybe, maybe not. Especially with the scenes and just the big difference in gap all around the world, because it's hard to say that, all of, North America has a whole, like when you place whole country to whole country, basically America, we're not looking too well, especially compared to some of those Mexican players, because I've been down in Mexico and I really seen them play, and, I would say that probably, all the Mexican players could probably beat just about any Japanese player out there, and, that's probably any player, I guess, because, that's, KOF is like Mexico's Street Fighter, so you got that on their side. But, maybe, with some training, a little bit of dedication, and some fanboys finally, getting into a game where it actually takes substantial amounts of skills to play and pull off things without just mashing. Because, when I first jumped into the game, getting used to playing, MVC 3 and, playing Super Street Fighter 4, I will admit I was lazy, Like, I was looking at these button combinations, like, how fast are my fingers going to put these in, then I had to make the realization, like, okay, they're giving me button by button, but this is just quarter circles and everything like that. So, ending this video out, my prediction, for the 2012 tournament season, as it goes from now, I would probably say Mexico would win if KOF13 was an Evo. Now, it probably is going to be an Evo, and there's probably like regionals and qualifiers and everything for it, but, I don't really know. I haven't really been keeping up on my Evo ever since, basically the two biggest games have always been Marvel and freaking Street Fighter, and Japan always wins Street Fighter, or they don't always win, but they win a lot. And, I guess America does pretty well in the MVC area, but it's gotten a little dry for me, since, and I was sad too, because, I mean, if you look at good games like Tekken and Blaze Blue, they were just played at TVs. Just TVs. And, some of those games were better, and Mortal Kombat had a freaking side stage, and come on, if you're going to say, some of the mechanics in a game like Blaze Blue, or Tekken are a little bad, or there's a little problems with frames or something, Mortal Kombat does a shit lot worse. I mean, have you seen how freaking, like, clay animated the gameplay is, and how sluggish things are? It's like, really? Yeah, you're gonna have Tekken, like, one of the biggest games in, the fighting game history, be at a TV stand? That's just sad. But, yeah, well, this is all the time I have. This is the Hoodie Gamer, signing out. Yeah.